Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the August 2022 Audit and Finance Committee meeting. We'll call the meeting to order and ask for the motion on the adoption of the agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the next item is the approval of the minutes from our July 5th regular meeting and then for the July 15th call meeting. Are there any changes, corrections to the minutes? If not, I will entertain a motion on those.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the last two meetings.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The next item is the 2022 tax anticipation note. Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Ms. Green. So I'm going to defer to our bond counsel, Ms. Carol Clark, to discuss the $60 million tax anticipation note here.
I think you're on mute.
You're on mute, Carol.
Indeed, I am. Okay, sorry about that. Hello, everybody. Yes, this is our annual tax anticipation note, which is one of the three borrowings that the district goes into every year right about this time. And the reason that we have the need to issue the tax anticipation note is that a large portion of the county's operating funds come from local property taxes. And as you know, property taxes are due without penalty on January 15th. And so the vast majority of those taxes are collected in December and January. And so typically the district experiences a cash flow shortage in sometime anywhere from August through November. So we are basically just borrowing in anticipation of property tax collections for operations. So this does not constitute debt. It will be paid off at the end of March of next year out of the operating taxes. And we are authorizing or asking you to authorize not exceeding $60 million. I know finance is still working on sort of tightening up the details on the cash flow projections, but 60 million is the same amount that was issued last year. And so we don't expect it to exceed that and possibly maybe less than 60 million. Does anybody have any questions?
I make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carol, thank you as always. We appreciate your help.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, the next item is the 2017-2022 capital program phase 4 technology replacements. Tom?
I have that, Ms. Green.
Oh,
I have that here.
okay.
So this is a reallocation of current phase 4 sales tax funding within IT, moving money from 3 program elements to fill a need for technology infrastructure. The total amount is just over $600,000. No impact on the accounts that are being reduced.
Any questions for Jeff on the reallocations? If not, this is an action item. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okie dokie. Thank you very much. Barnett, or do you have that one too, Jeff?
She's got it.
Okay, Angela.
Good afternoon, everyone. This item is just for information only. I think the agenda has us for action, but it is just for information. So this is in accordance with our procedures relating to the disposition of properties in the district. And so we are furnishing this list to the board. This is our underutilized property list and with the categories of use. If you have any questions about that, I'm willing to entertain that. We are also going to be abiding by a proviso, a budgetary proviso, the 1.113 proviso in September, where we have to post our underutilized properties. Not all of these will be part of that list. These will be facilities that have not had any type of direct instructional in the past 4 years. It looks as though when we look at that property list that there's 4 properties that can actually fall under that, but we will be taking a more in-depth look at those that we will have to post in September.
Angela, can you tell us what those 4 are?
So currently, when we're looking at those, and I know that Jeff could probably speak a little bit more about this, we're planning on updating the master plan to include those. But right now, without that master plan being updated, it would be Blaney, Schroeder, Lincoln, and McClellanville.
So can I ask why the dirt properties, the properties without facilities would not be listed?
Because technically they do not, the ones that are dirt properties, when you look at C.E. Williams that closed and we demolished that, even though that's a dirt property, it did have instruction on it within that 4-year span. And then also when we look at the Allendale property, the same. Currently, we just purchased it. So we still fall within that 4-year window.
To piggyback onto that, and then we have to, if we identify land in the master plan that we have a potential use for, that would also take it off the list. So to further what Angela just mentioned about Allendale, we have a plan that would eventually build a school there that would take it off of the underutilized list if we have included that discussion in a master plan amendment. So any of the properties she has on the list that we intend to use, we will modify the master plan accordingly.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have one more question. I think I was kind of referencing some of those parks, or there was something on James Island. Why are we holding on to that?
So are you referencing Red Top?
Possibly, yes. I don't have my list in front of me.
So Red Top currently has a facility use with the Red Top community, and that expires in 2023, January of 2023. So we will be able to add that on to that list after that date.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Angela. The next item is the approval of projects over $250,000. Mr. Wilter.
Good afternoon, Ms. Green and board, audit and finance members here. That's the list for August. Are there any questions concerning this list?
I have a question about the school resource officers, and Michael is here, just to explain the cost variations, and if you could just talk about that for a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. So the school district provides a standard allocation to each of the law enforcement agencies for every school resource officer provided to the district. That standard allocation is $39,222 per position, with one exception. There's one position over time that is a higher, it's $66,875, and that's meant to offset some of the supervisory costs as well. But for the most part, $39,222 is a standard allocation. And so the difference in the numbers between agencies is based on the number of positions they provide. So typically, if you just multiply $39,222 by the number of positions that they may be providing, that's how you'd reach the total number.
And are these full-time positions?
They are there. This is kind of a bit of a not to exceed. There's still some final details we've yet to receive from some of the agencies regarding the staffing we will receive. So this is planning for all of the positions to be filled. We have not yet received confirmation that that's going to come to fruition.
And what is the status of us having SRO in each school?
So it really depends on the jurisdictions. So the schools under the jurisdiction of the town of Mount Pleasant in unincorporated Charleston County and the sheriff's office. They have SROs for all of the schools in the district. In the city of Charleston, all the middle and high schools are filled. The elementary schools vary. Some of those schools have SROs in the elementaries, or some of the elementary schools have SROs full-time. Others are covered by members of the school security response team, which is a roaming team that focuses solely on school security. The city of North Charleston has allocations for the middle and high schools. The elementary schools right now are still in question. We have not yet received the staffing they'll provide for the elementaries going into next year.
And if I can just add, Ms. Green, if a position is not filled, the money is withheld by the district. So this money doesn't automatically go to the municipalities. It's based on a fill it's on a fill basis.
And we match, or they provide the personnel and we pay them. Is that how that is done? Not a match kind of thing?
So we have that standard allocation we provide per position. The remaining balance of the costs for salaries and benefits and equipment and fuel, that's covered by the municipality.
Okay. Okay. All right. Are there any questions from other members of the committee? I'm sorry.
So I have one more question. So if I hear you correctly, you're asking us to approve contracts that may not actually be the true contracts. Is there a reason why these are being brought forward before you get the actual numbers and the actual contracts? You stated you're still waiting on information. So why the rush to bring this forward when it's not accurate?
So we wanted to go ahead and get ahead of it before the start of school. We do have the details finalized with some of the agencies. The way the contracts are written is basically we would like for all of these schools to be filled, but if only some of them are filled, then we will only pay for what you have provided. So each position is billed quarterly. So if you provide an SRO for this school this quarter, at the end of that quarter, we'll provide our allocation for it then. So there is some flexibility as far as our costs that we're providing to adjust that based on the level of staffing that they're giving us.
And I'm in no way concerned that we would, that you wouldn't manage the contract financials well. I'm thinking that I'm wondering why you're putting these out into the public arena with no plan to tell the public exactly what's being managed as far as SROs. So we won't ever talk about SRO contracts again once they're approved. When will we know what is being covered by school resource officers?
Sure, we can certainly provide an update to the board members once those details are finalized to close that loop.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make sure that happens? I see all these emails that have gone back and forth to say the board gets it, and then I see emails going out to the press that says the board can ask for it. So I'm not sure what the mechanism has to be, but I'm asking that we know the final numbers.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Thank you.
So Michael, this is Don. So when would you anticipate having those, that type of information, that type of data?
We would certainly hope to have it by the first day of school. Our week-long, or I'm sorry, our 3-day-long SRO training kicks off on Monday of next week. And so we'll kind of have an idea then of what SROs are reporting to duty, if you will, for the school district.
So would it be feasible, and I'm not pushing you on this, I'm asking, it would be feasible to provide that update to the board and the board brief on the Friday after school opens? So I think school opens on the 17th of August and we do it on the 19th. Is that
yes,
feasible?
Sir. Yes, sir, absolutely. One of the agencies provide an example. They're having SRO interviews this week. And so they're still vetting candidates and establishing their roster. So it's not that they're withholding it from us. It's just their processes are still in work. But that Friday that school starts, I think is a definitely a reasonable target.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Any other committee members with any questions regarding any of the contractual issues on this list?
Wayne, this is probably an obvious, easy question, but the line item, the $1.3 million for student seats in the virtual school, what is that? Just curious what that is. I wouldn't think you have seats in a virtual school.
Those are for services that those schools will be providing us. They'll be having seats in those virtual schools.
Okay, so it's for the services, not the seats themselves. Got it.
Yeah, correct.
Thanks.
It's more of a slot, is that right, versus a seat? Is that what we're talking about?
Sounds like it.
Yes,
Yeah,
go
but
ahead, sir.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I think that Mrs. Green is right. It's more of a slot, as opposed to a regular seat. It's a mechanism to have the right number of available kind of pipelines for each of those students in the virtual learning.
So if I can ask a more kind of a more basic question, is this the fee we're being charged by Low Country Virtual or whatever Cindy Ambrose's organization is, if we want to put students in that program?
Yeah, that's, yes.
Correct.
Ms. Stokes. When we went to join the consortium, or the consortium was created because of the pandemic, and then we set this, this financial arrangement between all the school districts. So that's what this is.
Thank you.
How many slots does this provide for the district?
Ma'am, I don't have that information right now. I can follow up with the committee on specifically how many this allows.
Okay, and when you're doing that, would you also, it can just be an email, let us know what the difference is between last year and this year?
Yes, ma'am, I've got it.
Okay, thank you.
I just have one more question, only because it's 13 days before school starts. It seems like we would know how many of those students have registered for that. Has that registration taken place and closed, or what?
I would say we do know, Ms. Coates.
Okay.
The people that know would not be on this call, but we'll follow up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so this is an action item. I will entertain a motion unless someone else has a question.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okie dokie. So the next item is the monthly capital projects report. Ms. Costello.
Joyce, if you're speaking, you're muted.
I was trying to get unmuted. Apologies to everyone, and apologies for my voice ahead of time. I'd like to present the June capital projects report. Our May sales tax collections were $3.7 million above the 2% cash flow projection of 2%. The expenditures for the month are as follows. For the 2010-2016 capital program, phase 3, $12,000. For the 2017 through 2022 capital building program, phase 4, $6 million. The 2023 through 2028 phase 5 program, $2 million. The 2023-2028 long-term debt projects had 0 expenditures. Capital maintenance 8% funding had $6,000 in expenditures, and the fixed cost of ownership is underway. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Joyce? Joyce, I hope you feel better than you sound.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Are there any questions? If not, thank you. That's it. Is that it, Sean? Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Joyce.
This is definitely a record.
Yeah.
Are there any questions or comments from any committee members before we talk about the agenda to go to the board?
So Joyce, I'm sorry, but I need can I circle back to one question? It won't have any impact on my vote, but I wanted to ask Jeff, why are we spending about $3 million at Garrett? Just curious, because I don't know where we are in terms of getting out of Garrett, getting into Garrett, or where Allegro is with Garrett.
That's the.
So the expenditures at Garrett are related to moving existing functions into Garrett from facilities that are being demolished or removed. So we have Fraser that is being rebuilt. The disposal process will need to move to Garrett. We have to move out of grounds operations, which is at the former West Ashley Middle, C.E. Williams North. When we demolish that school, they will go over to Garrett. And we also have the IT staff. We're upfitting space for IT to move into Garrett as well. And that would be the ARC. So the ARC portion of Garrett will be a facilities consolidation of different sites. So the funding is to retrofit spaces, to add a loading dock, to basically make that space suitable as we move out of other facilities.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Comments? Mr. Kennedy, do you have anything for us?
No, ma'am, I do not. Thank you.
Ms. Williams, do you have anything for us?
I do not. Thank you.
Well, the items moving to the board agenda, items 4 through 7, 8.
With the exception of 6. So 4, 5, 7, 8.
Okay. Okay. Anything from anybody?
Nope.
Thank you so much for your 20 minutes today.